let's talk about another common problem called hypertension. And all we're talking about here is the common ones. Every single illness that is in standard medicine, we treat differently. Actually, we don't treat gunshot wounds. So we will leave all the car accident, the gunshot wounds, the knife wounds, some of the real emergency room stuff, the car accident, you need to be seen in the emergency room. But we'll hook up some nutritional IVs so that the recovery is much quicker. You may want to go from the emergency room with the gunshot taken out and everything taken care of to our office so we can accelerate the whole recovery and healing process, because that's what we're good at. Let's talk about essential hypertension. 95% of high blood pressure is called essential. Essential is a cool term because it infers that we know something. It infers that we have a cause or that we can treat it, and it'll say, Mrs. Jones, you have essential hypertension, and we have some drugs to help that. It's called essential hypertension because all the reasons for hypertension have been ruled out, and we have no reason whatsoever why your blood pressure is high, and so we're going to put you on medications. But it sounds really cool to be called essential hypertension instead of, we have no idea why you have this high blood pressure, but we're going to treat it anyway. Essential hypertension is 95% of all the high blood pressure. Now, that's taken directly from the textbooks. That's not something I made up or an observation I've made. That comes from the textbook, the Standard Medicine textbook. Their goal is to get it down to 140/90. Now, this slide was made not too long ago. When I'm looking at recent literature, the goal of the recent hypertensive literature is to get it down 120/80. To become more and more aggressive with antihypertensives, with medications that are harmful to the body, to try to get that blood pressure down further and further. Low salt diet. 20% of the people of the population is salt sensitive, 80% are not. If you're not salt sensitive, it has absolutely nothing to do with your blood pressure. If you're salt sensitive, then it does. They encourage lifestyle changes. The DASH diet is a documented diet that will reduce blood pressure. In fact, it fits a lot with our philosophies. They give it a fancy name. Weight loss, alcohol restriction, exercise, stop smoking, caffeine restriction, stress reduction. All of these things are good. All these lifestyle changes are very good, and we would support them. They do a lot of antihypertensive medications. We won't go through those. They just have 2, 4, 6, 7 different categories. Calcium channel blocker, all you need to do is use magnesium for the calcium channel blocker. Okay, what do we use? Our goal is to get it less than 180/100 or 180/95. Why? Because when you really look at the data coming from the Framingham study, which is the study that is being used by Standard Medicine to show that they need to have a lower and lower and lower blood pressure, the real data does not support that, but the cardiac events, the risk of heart attack, the risk of strokes, those cardiac events don't start going up, are not increased until 180/95 or to 100. Now, there are people who at 150 or 160/100 feel worse, and they can tell they're not doing well. That's different than just carte blanche calling everybody need to be on antihypertensives if you're over 140/90. So we interpret the data differently. So we're going to take a different standard. Now, there was a very good study, the MRC study, that took more than 2,000 subjects on the blood pressure side and more than 4,000 subjects on the placebo side. And they looked to see, with this blood pressure, this entering blood pressure into our program, we're going to put 2,300 patients on blood pressure medicine, 4,500 patients on not, and who's going to do best? The average blood pressure was for the men was 158/98, and for the women 165/99. That would make a standard medicine doc shake in their boots that anybody would have a blood pressure that high. And what they found, which is not listed there, is that both groups did the same. Does it say that? Oh, demonstrated no benefit. The group on the antihypertensive medications did no better than the group that was put in the placebo group, with the average blood pressure of the men 160/100, and for women 165/100. No difference. We use magnesium. It's a vasodilator. It's a calcium channel blocker. Hawthorn berry is a vasodilator. It also happens to be an angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitor, which is one of the 7 categories in the antihypertensives. CoQ10 improves energy production. It supports the heart. D-ribose, we've used that because it's actually for energy. We've recently converted or shifted over into using vitamin B1 thiamine because the new lab person we got, Mark Abrinovich, has pointed out that if we want more of the ribose molecule, which is the basic substance for ATP, which is the energy for the body, if we need that, we can get it by adding more vitamin B1 instead of adding the actual ribose molecule. So, carnitine, drink plenty of water. Lifestyle recommendations, we do support those. Look at the difference. Look at the safety profile between using medications and using natural substances. The DASH diet has been in existence since 1997, and what they're advocating is a rich diet in vegetables and fruit. They do the low-fat dairy products, 27% of calories from fat, and with no other changes, they have a substantial reduction in blood pressure. Sounds a little bit like our diet, doesn't it?